We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in our use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
Good morning again. We are now in our Cup Chat segment here on WEFM. Joining Roleza and I in studio this morning, we have Mr. Colin Pitt, who is a Sergeant of Police at the Georgetown Police Station. Mr. Chevron Laborde, Corporal of Police at the Georgetown Police Station. And Mr. David Wright, who is a Corporal of Police, NCO and Sandy Bay Police Station, and we're discussing the topic Voices from the Frontline Part 1, Policing the Eastern Division. So we have two officers joining us in studio and one joining us online. Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are we feeling this morning?
It's good.
Oh, this song I look tired. Start again.
We good.
Yeah?
This morning. This morning.
Happy to be alive.
Lovely. All right. And Wright, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for asking.
That's a response, right? Excellent.
Great. So as we said this morning, our topic is Voices from the Frontline, Policing the Eastern Division. So my first question to you is which police stations make up the Eastern Division?
Right. So the Eastern Division is comprised of 4 police stations. And the boundaries are from Fancy to the north, to North Union to the south. The 4 police stations are Canary Police Station, Georgetown Police Station, Sandy Bay Police.
Also,
All right. Thank you, officer. Just 1 minute, please. All right. All right, so let's just get back into our conversation here this morning. So we have this officer from the Georgetown. As a matter of fact, before we get into that, right? Considering this,
could you just speak into the mic again? Am I here, please?
yes. 1, 2.
Okay, we seem to have a problem with this mic.
all right, listeners, please bear with us 1 minute.
Did that already? Just did that. Just did that. All right.
All right, listeners, just asking you to give us a minute, please, while we get some issues sorted out. In the meantime, I'll just play a little piece of this song.
We are a flaming people. Is we all a super volcano? When we tell them that we hot, they say we joking. Show them what
The epitome of endurance and energy. I will be your teacher. Watch, listen, and learn. Go without a trainer, you will get bored. At already, the country roasting. Skeptics busy, saying we posting. Turn up the heat, raise the temperature. Turn up the heat, let go the fire. Vinci Mars, artists in the Caribbean. Vinci Mars, all who will be raise your hand. Batman joining the friend, keep the flame burning. Maso Manja Mini Rain, everyone steaming. Calypsonians have the whole place burning. We hot. Hey, everybody don't know. We dangerous when putting on a show. Like a pepper pot, fire boiling. Burn up all your fat and use limbs. Panorama is sensational. The Mastra, Calypso final.
It's SVG.
Cup Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
The world has become such a cruel place. Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in our use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
All right, and we are back with our interview. We're going to continue with the interview. Thank you for your patience. So to get straight into it, as we've lost a little bit of time, what are some of the most common crimes that you encounter in the Eastern Division?
Some of the most common crimes are burglaries and theft. Those are two of the most common crime in the Eastern Division.
Okay, and you said the Eastern Division is from?
Right, the Eastern Division, that spans from Fancy to the north to North Union. To the south, it is comprised of 4 police stations. The police stations are Canary Police Station, Georgetown Police Station, Ovia Police Station, and Sandy Bay Police Station. Georgetown Police Station is the headquarters of all, led by a superintendent of police.
Okay, and go ahead.
If I may just add to what the sergeant is saying, we also have a fire department, a sexual offences unit, and the criminal investigations department in that division also. And they are based at the Georgetown Police Station.
Okay, I think I learned something new today. I didn't even know this. Okay, so y'all have your own central station. Okay, all right. But out of curiosity, which community, I suppose, do you see a higher prevalence of activity happening?
Well, the Canary District and Georgetown District. Those districts are two of the most where a lot of crimes happening in those 2 districts compared to Ovia and Sandy Bay, which is relatively quiet. Yes.
You want to give any theories as to why this might be so?
Well, the problem that we face in over the years is the pursuits from outside. They will come in and commit some of these crimes. But because the Canary district and the Georgetown district are more agriculture um, district. And that is the reason why, because a lot of the type of agricultural produce and so on. These districts have a lot of bananas planting and crops, vegetables, compared to Oya and Sandy Bay.
Okay, so it's more of an incidence of pretty larceny than, let's say, home burglaries, etc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's positive.
Okay.
And also to add, we would have been also successful in apprehending some of these persons. And what we have found out is that persons are using rental vehicles, rental cars. And there's one instance where we would have apprehended a car and it was loaded with coconuts and grapefruit, oranges. And we would have arrested that person, was successful in getting a conviction at the court in respect to that person. And I'm also encouraging persons to be very careful of who they rent their vehicles to, because you do not know what they're doing with your vehicles. And the amount of load that we are seeing in those rental vehicles, you have to be very careful. There's no problem in asking, calling somebody and ask them, is Mr. John Brown a good person to rent my vehicle to? So I want to encourage, and I want to also thank the general public, because there are people walking along with us pretty well, especially the farmers in that area. We have had instances where farmers would call us and inform us, okay, I see this vehicle going up in that area. And when we respond, we would have been able to apprehend, in some instances, a vehicle and with produce in that vehicle and being able to take that person to court and getting a conviction.
Okay. And with that, though, so do you tend to step up your stop and search activity within those within that division?
Yes, this stop and search, we stepped up that a bit. And what we're doing now is instead of focusing on one special time, kind of stagger the time, so that will unable to throw up the perpetrators. So instead of looking at us, let's say 10 o'clock or 10 a.m. every day, going at different intervals.
Like 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
All right.
Do you have any other measures that may be different from other divisions as it relates to the predial larceny? Say that it's a little bit more prevalent in this district?
Well, what we're doing is regular patrols and the community outreach, because we go out in the community and have conversation with the farmers or any person, because based on whatever information we get, then we tend to put that into practice. So we do community outreach, not to help us with certain information.
Also, we have done some farm patrols of recent, but some of the terrain is very hard to get because they're mountainous. Some of them are very hard to get. So I want to encourage the farmers, if they're not seeing us in those areas, we are wrong. And it's just a phone call away, and we will make it. If we have to make it on foot, we would be there.
Sounds like you need some drones too.
Okay, if I may make my own little input from my sphere. Good morning once again. Thank you for having me on. Good morning to the other members there, my brothers, Sergeant Peter and Corporal Abode.
Morning.
Right. Good morning to the listeners and viewers alike. Okay. I am presently the NCO in charge of Sandy Bay Police Station. I would have taken over Sandy Bay in May of 2025 from Corporal May. And based on my statistics, the most prevalent, I should go back to 2024. The most prevalent in my area was assault bodily harm. That is like conflict between two persons that would result in minor injury, where they would have to seek medical attention, and it's not serious enough to go to wounding, but a scrape, a scratch, pain, swelling, those minor injuries, that's assault bodily harm. We are 19 reports in that district for 2024. Second to that was theft. I concur with my brothers about the pretty alarming situation in the Eastern Division. And primarily it was agricultural produce, the theft of agricultural produce. And then we had damage to property coming in number 3. We had the instance of 12 reports in the year 2024, right? And then we had burglary, which we had 8 reports of. Okay, those four headings, those 4 classes of crimes in 2024, they total a number of 57 reports out of our 78 total reports for 2024. So imagine 78 reports from a district, and those 4 headings took 57 out of 78 reports, which would give you a rough percentage of about 73% of all the reports was under that section. For 2025 so far, we must say thank God. Something would have worked, because up to present time, we have 13 reports overall in the Sandy Bay division, in the Sandy Bay district. Unfortunately, theft raises its ugly head again, this time with 4 reports, second to burglary and assault bodily harm. Okay. So we have seen, we have basically seen a reduction in Sandy Bay district from 2024 to 2025, a drastic reduction. The next question is, what have we done?
Very good.
I would think it's step up police intervention. Sandy Bay is a close knitted community, and you have a lot of persons intermingling with each other. So I think it's more of settling your differences, maybe a war of words instead of physical violence instead. So along with interfacing with the police, okay, one may have a disgruntlement against his neighbor or someone else, and if that person is aggrieved, he or she heads to the station for almost everything. The police, they see the police as the all in all. You understand me? Whether be it family issues, counseling, children issues, or regular crime situation, they come to the police for advice. And it is our duty now to step in, advise them. If we have to go and issue stern warning, we do so. And if it is a situation where we have to take an official report, we also do that.
Okay, this is interesting because it means that in the rural, well, I'm wondering if closer to town, if persons are more against police as opposed to in the rural areas, police is, well, as we would say, police is your friend, because you're saying that persons would look to come to the police for, just to settle minor differences. So it seems that maybe in the rural, I don't know if it's correct to say it, but in the rural communities, persons most see the police as peacemakers as opposed to being against police officers.
That's correct. And this is what we would say was the old time style of the way the police operated. More of a community-based policing aspect rather than the master whip.
Right.
You understand?
The enforcer. Okay. Yes. It's good. It's good to know.
And may I add, I think persons in those communities are familiar with officers because most of the communities are small, and there are officers who live in the community, so they feel comfortable coming to the station and say, okay, let us settle this matter.
Right.
instead of going to court.
Okay. And I suppose it also helps in the context as well. As one person said, as I thought of as well, that because so many persons are related, then they don't want to necessarily get into physical violence against each other. Or they would not necessarily look to break into each other's homes, etc. So maybe because of that closeness, as Corporal Wright mentioned, so many of them are related. Maybe these are the more peaceful communities.
What's your relationship with other stakeholders in the community, like non-governmental organizations? What's that relationship like in terms of just generally, as well as when you have work to do, investigations to carry out? How do you work with them?
Well, the relationship is very good, I should say.
Mm.
Normally, what happens in terms of farmers, well, vendors, promoters, and so on. Normally, from time to time, we come together, have little meetings and so on. Because when the police realize that something is a bit off, we invite everybody together and have a meeting, at least to try to iron out certain things. In terms of the promoters, now when we have shows and the DJs and so on will be on the mic and want to exclusive and so on. Even though the promoters, two promoters might want to have an event the same day or the same night. Now they come together and they come to a conclusion where all right, I will have mine this week and you will have yours next week. Because we are looking at two events, same night. Now you need the manpower in terms of police officers to manage. Because if no police officer is present, then it will be chaos. So we try to, everybody singing from the same hymn sheet, try to get everything I know before, these shows or these activities, took place and so on.
Okay. All right. We weren't quite ready to take calls, but I see somebody. Oh, the person that was trying to call for a bit. All right. So callers, what we would do, or persons who wish to call, we would indicate to you when it's time to call. All right. So after we take the break. All right. So what do you find is your greatest challenge, though?
Okay, one of the greatest challenge, I believe, is getting persons to give statements when offenses are committed. And there's basically a lot of reasons that they outline. Some of them say they're fearful and the person would come back and do them stuff. Some are saying, oh, is my relative, I don't want to get involved. Others may say, okay, the matters is taking too long in court. I don't have time because there's work. I have to lose my work every time I get day off. I have to be in court. And we have been putting measures in place to try and combat this. And when they come here, I would encourage them. I would put myself in their shoe and I would speak to them and help them to understand that crime is not just about the person who's affected. It affects all of us. And we do not know when it is going to come to our door. So I would encourage them to get involved, give a statement. Or if they are not comfortable with me taking the statement, I would ask them if there's any officer, any person who they know, who they could relate it to. And I would encourage that person to speak to that officer and give them that statement. Because at the end of the day, we should be our brother's keeper and assist one another.
All right.
Yes, well, I concur very much with Corporal Labode. One of our greatest challenges is to have witnesses becoming involved in the investigative aspect of the matter. The first thing, even if they have information, they want to know if they have to go to court. And if you tell them, yes, you may be required to go in the box and give whatever evidence you have, then they immediately withdraw themselves because they're fearful. They're fearful of backlash from whether it's the defendant's family or the defendant him or herself, or his friends. So that has been one of our problems over the years. Since, well, of late, there are persons who would be scared of coming literally in the face to face in the same setting with the perpetrator, or who may wish to remain anonymous. And I think over the last few years, the government authorities would have put the necessary things in place, instruments in place that will facilitate um, the giving of evidence by witnesses who can remain anonymous, or who can give that evidence to the court live from an undisclosed location. So those things have been put in place, which we are very thankful for. And we want to assure the public that even if you don't want to be in the same space with the perpetrator, you can become a part of the investigation and give your 2 cents, so that you can see that justice will be done or appear to have been done in an issue. Okay? Because you never know when it's your turn, and you will need your brother or sister to be your brother's keeper. Okay?
And I know that Fancy to North Union is a big area, big district. So I'm curious about, well, not to put you on the spot, but I'm curious, do you find that there's enough manpower from your vantage point for this wide division?
Well, that is one of the problems that being infested, well, not just the Eastern Division,
come a bit closer.
But the force on a whole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because this big district, a lot of report with a little effort in terms of manpower, that is quite a challenge. But most of the time, at the end of the day, we normally overcome it. But the manpower, that is one of the problems.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were ranking the districts, what number would this place in size? This is not the biggest. Is it the biggest district?
No, this is not really the biggest district.
South.
The South Central, especially Kaliako. Kaliako district is very wide.
Mm.
You know, that is that stemmed from they call it Kelboni, all the way back to Annesville.
Diamond.
Yes, that is the widest district.
In terms of population, you mean? Okay. Okay.
But notwithstanding the manpower, we have been doing well, and we have been able to successfully apprehend persons and take them to court. And I must give the general public kudos, because they've really been assisting us a lot, and want to encourage them to continue to call, continue to give us the information, and we would ensure that your information is taken seriously, and we would look into whatever information you give to us.
Okay.
I also want to add a bit on Corporal Labo's statement in respect of the public. I also want to thank the public also, because without them, then it will be very difficult for us, because the police alone, we cannot do it on our own. We need, assistance from stakeholders, assistance from the general public. And we just hope that you all continue to, partner with us, be there with us, whatever information you have, feel free to share your information, and we will do the best for our ability to assist you.
Well, it would be remiss of me if I did not also thank the general public in my neck of the woods, because since taking over Sandy Bay, we would have had numerous assistance from farmers and locals alike. Even the complainants who would have missed their animals, they would take it. They know of our constraints, but they will take it on themselves many times to go all out to search far and wide in the district to see if they relocate their animals. And if they hear anything, the first person to know is the police. And of course, the police has to be there. The police will be there. I recall 2 farmers combined. They would have lost a total of 14 heads, sheep and goats. Okay? And they would have reported it to the police, but they didn't leave it there. because we are short and there are other issues that we have to deal with us also. So they took it on themselves to go seeking. And when they received certain information, they would have come and inform me, and I along with my other officers, we would have gotten the transportation. And honestly, some of these terrain are virgin terrain that I'm now getting to know that I never knew before existed. Mountain lands, where we would recover these animals. Okay? And this is not $1 value. This is value exceeding $5,000 in livestock. So I must thank my community for working along with us, because without you, the police is just as lost as everybody else. We depend, our work still depend on information gathering, on communication with community-based personnel, on members in the society. So continue to work with us, and we will work the best for you.
As an aside, as you were there talking about terrain, etc., I'm there thinking, as police officers, you all at the end of your duty, at the end of your whenever you retire, number one, you could be tour guides, and number two, y'all should be very fit, because it's a lot of walking, etc., that you have to do. So yeah, y'all might know the country inside out.
All right, so we're going to take a short ad break, and then we'll come back with the rest of the interview. Listeners, when we come back, you can call us then with your questions.
Vincy Mas 2025 just got its biggest, most unforgettable moment. Wednesday, July 9th, Victoria Park is the place to be for Rise Soca. The ultimate explosion of pure Vincy energy, live from Trinidad. Kes the band.
St. Vincent, July 9th is all about Rise Soca, and Kes the band is gonna be there.
Joining him is Full Blown.
For you, my friend. This is Full Blown. Yeah, we will be performing live.
Tickets start from $100 general, or upgrade to all-inclusive VIP at $400 all-inclusive with front of stage access. Tickets available island-wide or online at ticketpile.com. Rise Soca, Wednesday, July 9th. Kes the band.
All yo, here we go, Vincy Mas 2025. It's the heartbeat of the summer and the greatest summer festival. That's why Vincy's and foreigners from everywhere will be coming together once again in love and unity for Vincy Mas 2025. This one is going to be grand. It's going to be different and glamorous. Be prepared for the vibrancy in Vincy Mas from June 27th to July 8th. Call a family and tell a friend. Here we go, Vincy Mas 2025. This one will be massive. For more information, follow us on IG at Vincy_Mas, Facebook at Vincy Mas, and log on to www.vincymas.vc or email info@vincymas.vc. Here we go, Vincy Mas 2025.
Do you spin a dial to make a call on your rotary phone from the 60s? No. Are you driving an unreliable and risky automobile made in the 1900s?
Of course not.
Are you still fiddling with an antenna to get good signal on your black and white television from the 20s?
Really?
Then why are you still stuck in the past, sitting on an unintelligent 1930s design toilet? That's right, 1930s design. What does your bathroom say about you? Don't get left behind. The future is now. Be smart. Be progressive. Get yourself a smart toilet seat or a complete toilet today at one of our 4 authorized hardware stores: General Hardware, Gibson's Building Supplies, Lane's Hardware, or Miners Hardware. For more information, you can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website, justwashit.vc.
WEFM is SVG.
Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
The world has been wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
We are back with the rest of our Cup Chat interview this morning. Remember, we are discussing the topic Voices from the Frontline, Part 1, Policing the Eastern Division. And we're speaking with Sergeant Colin Pitt, Corporal Chevron Laborde, and Corporal David Wright. You can call us if you have questions or if you have comments, 457-9997. That's the number that you can use to get us on the landline and to also get us on WhatsApp. Now, with all of what we have discussed here this morning, you know, being in the rural area, having to deal with things like predial larceny, having to probably do a little bit of hiking, probably chopping down bush, clearing path as you're going, and all of these things. What do you do to boost each other's morale or to help to improve the wellness of the officers in your district?
Well, the officers in the district have a very close relationship. So sometimes by doing these things, we
have a caller.
So we'll get back to that.
Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning to the panel.
Morning.
Morning.
Into the officers.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Whether they want to find out in Cuba.
Caller, could you repeat that, please? And if you could speak a little bit more forcefully into the phone.
Yeah, I was asked if the NCO in Sandy Bay, he knows where Cuba Mountain is.
Which mountain?
Cuba.
Groover?
Cuba.
Cuba Mountain.
Yeah.
And right, that's for you. You know where Cuba Mountain is?
Not as yet. I'm here to learn that place.
I used to NCO at Sandy Bay some years ago. And we had a program in Sandy Bay. And we got information that tampolin was this. So a guy mentioned that the tampolin was at Cuba Mountain. When I got that information, I want Cuba. If we have a Cuban syndrome.
I was wondering that just now.
I had two other men had to move from Sandy Bay police station. It took us we left about 8 o'clock morning, and we never got to Cuba Mountain around maybe 2 hours. Okay. And we were successful, we went up there, and we started pulling and suppression where from men. It was not sufficient. But there, about for going marijuana in that. I tell you, we are up there, and we heard a shot went off. It was a fire. That's all.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks, caller. Well, at least all of us learned something new today. All right. So thanks for that. Okay.
What you call it? It's a lot of work to walk out there. It's a lot of work.
Okay.
It works by working because you get to know a lot about it.
All right. Thanks, caller.
All right. So do you have anything to say in response to the caller? No? All right, then. So we probably can get back to the question from before. So imagine you're sitting at your office, you are relaxed, you are probably having a quiet day, and then somebody comes to make a report saying you have to go to Cuba Mountain. How do you boost, how do you keep your morale up and, your wellness when you're faced with all of these things?
Well, it is a kind of mental thing. You have to bend your mind because you get the station.
Bend your mind? What's the way over here? That too?
There's a cover.
Oh, really?
Serious?
Yeah.
Because you have the station and you come to work. And these are things that you expected. So once you get a call, start to make movements. Even though you have to go as far as the east is from the west. You have to make up your mind that okay, then we have to get there because we have to get the job done. So mentally we have to prepare yourself mentally. So once you get that call, you know that you have to go. You go get the job done, and sometimes you go and you like it after all because it's good exercise.
You would have mentioned how things that we do to boost our men tomorrow, right? Last year we would have had a successful event where we would have honored those forces who would have worked hard in 2024, and that went down well, and the men enjoyed themselves. And also we would encourage them to check their health. It's very important that they check your health, and we encourage them because the health center, the modern medical center, just about 5 minutes walk away from us. And also we have seen those nurses come into our station and they would check our blood pressure, and I must give them kudos to that and thanks to them for coming out. So the Ministry of Health would have came to the station and they would have done some health checks, and they would have given us a little book. They call it the passport.
Okay. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning. Sorry, Laban.
Good morning. It just said exercise. I just use the word exercise. Do any person on the panel say sports there? The police officers.
No.
But I must admit that I usually exercise from time to time. The last time I exercised, I walked from the station. I walked to just under Point Village early morning and back to the station. I try to do that in as short as possible a time as is practicable.
Point Village.
Where is it?
Just past Sandy Bay. After Sandy Bay is Point Village.
Okay.
But there's a good distance you have to walk.
All right. Queens is gone. All right. So you were talking about the book. You got as far as the book, the passport.
The Ministry of Health has given us a small booklet that they say that is our passport. So whenever we go to the health center, they would record whatever information in that book, and we give them thanks for that. And I think it's a good initiative on their part.
Okay, we have another caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
Sergeant Pitt. Good to have you on such a program like this, dealing on the windward side of the island. But I really would like to see more patrol of the police in the community. Not only when something happens, then you call the police and then the police come. The Prime Minister continued to repeat that the police force is not the public service where they sit around the desk all day. I agree with that, and I would like to see the presence of the police in the community. I know that you may say that, while the community is sleeping, the police is working, but I could tell you, I just be up to and I'm a man on the ground, and I'm not seeing it as it to be. The other thing is what mechanism that you have in place to fight these hooligans, these van drivers. I know Simmons doesn't like me to use that word, hooligans, but those guys, that's what it mounted up to be, this hooliganry behavior with this passenger bus. And one pastor said, these mini disco on the road. I personally need to see the presence of the police on the road, so then you could curb some of these behavior of these, especially here I'm keep repeating these van drivers. Them are the most one that are causing so much havoc in this country. So I listen up here, and yes.
All right. All right, anybody wants to comment? I guess more so try to tailor it for your division.
Right. Well, in respect of the van drivers, well, we normally do traffic checks on a regular basis in respect of that. But what these van drivers does, you have to bear it in mind that the police officers, we cannot be everywhere. So once they know the police is on the road, they would not play their loud music in the presence of the police. You know, when they reach where no police officers are, they turn up back the music. You know, but we we're doing a lot of traffic checks to try to curb all these problems.
Do y'all ever hear loud music when you're in the station? You would hear it because I'm curious.
From time to time, we'll hear it.
Yeah. Okay, I just chuckling because I'm thinking that when they're approaching the station, they turn it down, and after they leave, they turn it back up.
Permit me to add here.
Wait 1 second, please. Here we have another caller.
Okay, great.
Hi, caller. Morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and to your officers.
Morning.
Let me say, police doing a good work, and we don't really see that. At the moment of information that I hear the station was clean out this morning, I find police doing a good work. I always doing a good work, especially fellas like Aswick and G and all these fellas, and Billy and these fellas and them. And Miss Morgan, morning to all the police officers, and Miss Miller. Yeah, but they say with the van thing, with the van problem, that a lot of police own van. So they might do back on the music and things. So, but I just part of that joke. But tell me something now. They say when man renting cars to steal people for juice, and then you have certain people at certain radio station will come and say, oh, what they can't get and all kind of thing. Well, they get any money to rent, can't buy guns and all them kind of things. So I find that the media does give the thieves and them a lot of privilege to do people things. Because a man renting a car, you pay down something $500 or $1,000 in case you hit the anything like that. And plus you have to pay, if you rent it for a day, you have to pay $100 or something dollars. And then these people will come and tell you that it's hungry, they're starving, and they can't get food to eat and all kind of thing. And some of them walk in the stores, shoes on, and the phantom to the bottom so expensive. So I just want to warn the public about gay, because once a man alive, everybody have an opportunity to make a living somehow, some way. Even if they have to beg. So I don't like the people that giving these criminals and them easy way out to telling them, say, well, okay, he's hungry, and they can't get work and all that kind of thing. That thing should be stamped out, because once they reach to age and they could work, somebody go help you somehow or some way. You cut some gas in yard or something. But you want to live big life. You want to live like all this big shit.
All right. All right, caller, we get it. Thank you. All right. Lord, y'all not gonna get talking. Okay, last call for the morning because the officers need to touch on some, and 2 calls come in. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to strengthen the point of that last caller. I travel and been all around, and even before I traveled, years gone by, men and women used to ride in front in the van, in those vans. You find 2 in front two men in front. But now these young guys come in and tell you, if you're in front in the van, they want a woman to go inside. Why they chucking woman inside? Two men could ride inside. That start from them fellas in Glen. Them bus drivers in Glen who start that thing. I've been all around in the Caribbean here and I never see that. I hear alone that happen. But this is not what I really call to say. What I call to say is we have a scandal going on in Joshua Police Station a couple of years ago. With some police and some young girls and things. And they still transfer all of them. How that investigation going? I don't hear nothing like that investigation dead. So I know these police officers know about it.
What year was this? What year you alleging it happened?
Maybe 2-3 years ago or so. I can't remember. But you have a scandal with some young girls used to go there until they transfer the police and them. I don't hear nothing about that again.
All right. So we would give them the opportunity to answer. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Enjoy it.
You too.
So caller, thanks for calling. There's certain information that police officers and during investigation that we will not be able to give to the public. Most of these things are dealt with in-house. And if the needs be to have disciplinary charges brought against those officers or we bring them out in the public, that would be done. But most of the time, some of these information we cannot give them out to the general public.
All right. Okay. So, right, you were making the point of, well, it was something in relation to the van drivers and you were looking to come in.
In relation to the van drivers.
Right.
I must add my point here because I am part of the traveling public. So I have to live it basically every time I'm traveling up to work and back. It is unfortunate that most of the van drivers are not listening to radios, to the radio stations. So therefore, most of them will not hear the plea from the police this morning. Okay? But for those of you who are listening, and for the families of those who are driving vans, minibuses on the eastern seaboard, which is from Kingston up to Fancy, Moses to Sandy Bay, I am begging and I'm pleading with you, as the caller asked, please, you have the lives of many passengers in your hand. We are not flying an aeroplane. The sky is for the aeroplane. Remember, it is just two small rubbers that hold in those brakes. And anytime those rubbers fail, it would be chaos. And then it would be trouble with insurance companies. You're going to make other persons who are driving cautiously have their premiums go up by no fault of their own. So I'm begging and pleading with you. Yes, we have the issues. As a police officer traveling in the minibuses, from time to time, I have to pull up the drivers. I have to pull up the conductors. And moreover, these conductors believe that they are working with themselves. They do not want to listen to passengers. And unless they know that you hold an office, like me as a police officer, unless they know that I'm a police officer, when I speak to them, it's like you're speaking to a brick wall. And yes, they're knowledgeable. They know they're not supposed to play loud music in the tongue zone or in front where the police can hear them. So most of them would turn down their music when they're nearing Connery. And they will play that music at a certain level straight to Georgetown. When they leave Georgetown again and they pass Connery, they turn back the music to this height. Okay? The content, the lyrical content that these I can't speak for the leeward end. When the other officers come in to represent their district, they can speak. But for the Eastern Division, most of these minibuses, the music that they play, the lyrical content is most times X-rated. And you have to keep on telling them that is not for the public service transport. And they need to do better, because if I have to keep on talking to them, I will bring charges against them.
Maybe just bring the charges and then, it would be a lesson for everybody else. Set the example.
The good book says the Lord sends his warning before judgment. So take it as a warning, my friends. Pass the message. The drivers, please, please, you are supposed to be the one in charge of the minibus, not the conductor. If you want the music to play at level 5, the conductor should not be carrying it to the level 10. It's not a DJ. It's not a party. It's not a party on wheels. It's taking passengers to their destinations safely and comfortably. Sometimes you finish working and you have a headache because you were at it all day. And you go into these minibuses and they are thumping your brain as if you're going to die before you get out of that. You have to ask them, please, to turn it down. The understanding ones will turn it down. But the young fellas who are on these vans, they don't care about you if you're tired or whatever. Or they figure they play the music to encourage people to come so they make more money. Okay, so I plead with you guys, take care of your passengers. That's what I'll say for now.
All right. And with that, we are going to wrap up our interview with our officers here this morning. Just want to give each of you an opportunity to leave us with your final word, whatever that may be for you.
And maybe a message for those reveling over this long weekend. So,
yes, well, we know that the carnival is very near. So I'm urging persons who are, vendors, in terms of the no bottle policy that is still in effect. Don't get your glasses and pour them out for parcels, or let parcels come and tell you, no, I'm just going here. Because the onus can be on you. Those battles, I should say breakable battles, they can be used as weapon and they can make the police work even harder. So do the right thing and then everything will be all right. The revelers, party with caution. Don't overdo, don't drink too much of alcohol, because at the end of the day, you is the one who have to answer for yourself. So let us have a safe and peaceful carnival.
So I just want to say thanks to the management of WEFM for having us here, and to the listening public for listening to us. I want to encourage our persons around St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are now into the festive season, and you're going to leave, many of us are going to leave our homes and go into Kingston to revel. I want to encourage you to secure your homes properly. If you have valuables and you're afraid to walk with them into Kingston, give your neighbor to hold for you. Ask your neighbor to look out for you. There's nothing wrong with that. And I hope that everyone would have a blessed, safe weekend and enjoy Carnival.
And right?
And yes, I'll hook on the Carnival bus as well, because on behalf of the Commissioner of Police and the senior ranks and all other members, because the police has to play a very integral part in the security of the festival and for persons. Remember, we have a lot of returning visitors, a lot of Vincentians are home to enjoy themselves. A lot of visitors are here to have a special experience of Vincy Mass. After all, the name says it for itself, the hottest carnival in the Caribbean. Let us play it safe. Please, if you're going into Kingston to enjoy yourselves, there's absolutely no need for you to take an illegal firearm, which you should not have in the first place. There is no need for you to take a cutlass or a knife on your person or scissors on your person. Where the young men, mostly, they will tell you they have an alternative use for the scissors these days. But still, it's an offensive weapon. If you're caught with it in Kingston, rest assured, once the police meet you and they arrest you, more than likely you will spend the remainder of your carnival with the police at Central Police Station. Leave all weapons at home. You're going into Kingston to enjoy yourself. Go and have clean fun. And let everyone come out Wednesday morning, God spare life. everybody is smiling. We don't have any serious infractions, and keep whatever thing should be at most minimal. And finally, I urge everybody to continue to support the police, the work of the police, because we, the police, we cannot do it alone. As the old adage says, no man is an island unto himself. We need each other. If you see something or you hear something, please, I'm urging you, say something. Call the police. You may have a friend who is a police officer. Speak to that friend. If you don't trust anybody else, speak to that friend. Let him know what you heard or what you saw, so that we can take the necessary action to make sure that your surroundings is safe for you. Thank you.
All right, and that brings us to the end of our interview. We were discussing the topic Voices from the Frontline, Part 1, Policing the Eastern Division. We had in studio Corporal David Wright, Corporal Chevron Laborde, and Sergeant Colin Pitt, who are all attached to the Eastern Division of the police force. Gentlemen, thank you for being here with us today, and enjoy the rest of your day. All the best for the carnival season.
Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of work this weekend. But as the sergeant say, we have already bent our mind. But I'll say that we have a switch mode. We have a mode switch.
You activated because you activated mornings. Yay!
Great.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It is now 9:10, and we are going to head